All right, you gotta love technology, right? And that's a
Yes.
little bit about our topic today, anyways. But hello, everyone. This is our first time live on the Creative Spirit channel.
We are super excited. So if you don't know anything about the Creative Spirit, please go check out the website that was built. Actually, this website was a collaborative of everybody inside of our community. So it's been an amazing thing to kind of see happen and shape. But in the website, it talks about Jeanette and Jen, who created the Creative Spirit and have given us this amazing opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. We love this. And just in case you don't know, I'm assuming if you're watching this live on the actual Fire TV and Roku channel, you understand. But if you're live, watching us live anywhere else, you can also watch this on their actual TV channel that you can download on Roku and Fire TV. And it is amazing. It's a super interesting concept because I did not even realize. I made a TikTok about this because I didn't realize you could actually get your own TV channel until Jeanette told me. I was like, you have to be like NBC or rich, right? Like, how do you do this? But apparently, you don't have to be rich. You just have to put in a lot of work. Okay. And so, yeah, so here we are. And we're going to go live every Thursday to talk about random business related topics that can help small businesses and entrepreneurs build their companies and grow their clients and do all the fun things.
Exactly. And why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are?
Oh, who I am? Well, you can kind of see it on there, but my name is Sarah and I'm with Off the Beaten Path Consulting. So I am an HR fixer. I fix problems that people don't have the capacity or the ability to fix around their human resources and leadership functions. And what about you?
Sarah's website is gooffthebeatenpath.com. I always forget the go, so don't forget the go. It's a different website.
Yes.
Um, My name is Brittany Jones, and I am an accountability coach, and I own Biz Storming, which has a community that supports all business owners of any level, and as well as one-on-one coaching. So it's super exciting, and it's one of the things that brought us all here together.
Yes, yes. And today's topic is about size. And you're probably thinking like size of your business or scaling your business. No, we're not talking about those two things today. We're talking about sizing pictures and or banners for social media. Because as you can see, well, it's on this side. I have a TV up here that has a picture with my logo, but I have not done the picture the right size yet to fill the TV. And so I know that's an easy fix. I can do it. I just haven't found the time yet. But Brittany is going to tell you about her wonderful morning of trying to get things to size correctly. And we're going to have a conversation about that so that we can maybe help anyone else who's thinking about multi social media presences and how we can get the right banners and pictures up there.
And before I do that, I'm going to show a real-time thing that I just did.
Ooh.
So before we started, Sarah and I were like, oh, we need a background and we don't know how big we want to be. So we
Sure.
created this. And then I added the website banners so that everybody could go see us. Well, I noticed you cannot see Sarah's logo. So I
That's all right. It's okay.
So
It's
I,
a good
in
sign.
real time, went and moved her logo up so that whenever the banner applies, the banner is there. Placement is huge inside of everything that we do. And sometimes you don't think about what you're looking at or where you need to be. So you want to really look at that space. And today, I wanted to I've been rebranding my business and it really kind of giving it some structure in the same aspect. And I have two different people helping me in my marketing team. So that has to be like it has to be consistent. So I got the brilliant idea that I would go change my own I would go change my own banners on all my social medias.
And good deeds never go unpunished. So what happened?
So Facebook has two different sizings. One is if you would like it to look this way and look good if somebody's scrolling on the web, and a different sizing if you would like it to look good if they are scrolling on their cell phone, but
Mm-hmm.
don't give you an option to upload both.
No, because that would be too easy, right? Facebook can't make it easy for us, right? But all the social medias are like that, right? So everything from Facebook to LinkedIn to Alignable, it's all a different format and it's all a different size and it's all a different dimension of what will show with your picture covering part of it and all of that. And that's one of the things that we noticed this morning too while you were working. You were like, oh, it looks great on the screen, right? We're creating it. We're in Canva. We're like, oh, look, is she sharing her screen and it looks great. And then she puts it up and her face covers half of it because that's where your head is. And it's very interesting to make these mistakes. And this is why we're telling you to plan ahead to make sure that you are getting the right dimensions. And that's the best thing. And I'm not pitching that you have to use Canva. You don't use whatever design tool you want, but Canva does give you the exact dimensions that are needed for the different socials. They don't have Alignable yet. Just saying. But you can Google Alignables dimensions should you need them. And by all means, email one of us. We have them.
And what they also don't have, which Sarah, I don't know if you knew this, LinkedIn, personal and business are different sizes.
I did know that. I did know that. And but again, I knew that because I made the mistakes. And that's why we're here to hopefully make sure that you guys don't make the mistakes. And the other thing about LinkedIn too is that your head picture and your business picture are actually two different sizes. So they
And
cover,
shapes.
yeah. So when you think you're covering something, you're like, no, and it's just, yeah, it's crazy. So with this, when you think about the branding though of this, right? What we're talking about is the banners mainly at the tops of these socials. That's kind of our topic of the day. And when you're thinking of this though, you have to think about people are looking quickly, right? And you and I talked about this morning. You have to use keywords to grab them and make them want to know more. That banner isn't about giving all the information, all the things, all the time, whatever that movie was, right? And it's not about that. It's about giving them a brief amount of information so that they're like, "Ooh, what is that?" Right? And using uh your banner from today, one of the things that you have is a 90-day biz boost, right? Now, to tell you the truth, obviously I know it's 90 days. You're boosting a business. Okay, I'm not an idiot, right? Everybody knows this. However, when you say I have a 90-day biz boost, people are like, "Well, what does that mean? What does that entail? What are you giving me?" Right? If on that banner you started listing it all, nobody's reading it, right? Nobody's going to stop and be like, "Oh, what's a little list?" Right? Because it's going to have to be size 9 font to lift it, to list it anyways, right? So you got to think about that a little bit.
And to that point, that was what I was gonna say as well, is if they're unless it's Facebook, if they're sizing down to your cell phone, what you can see on your
Right.
if they're sizing that down to your cell phone, then that banner does become more compressed, and the more you have in it, the more cluttered it looks. And so that's one of those conversations that you have to kind of look at. How do we adjust this?
Correct. Correct. And while you're making these changes, I want you to think about the only way you can really test it is to throw up a new banner and see if it fits. So I want you to hear me out. Who's ever watching this, hear me out right now. No one is looking at your social media enough to know you changed your banner 10 times in 1 hour. Just do it. Keep throwing it up there. Nobody's getting a notification. Nobody's really sitting there watching you change it. So don't be afraid to change it and see how it looks, right? And then go and tweak until it looks exactly how you want it to look. I mean, Brittany, how many times did you change your banner this morning?
I luckily I had you helping me. And so we only had to tweak it. I had to tweak it 5 times for each different social media,
Mhm.
but I was able to hone it in and probably do about 3 or 4 tweaks per social media. And that kind of comes into time management as well. Earlier, I was on the phone with my business coach and I told her it should take me this amount of time to get this project done. And she laughed at me. And it was a different project. But normally we're like, oh, I'm going to put 3 banners up and create those in Canva and be done. That's a 30-minute, if you're crafty,
Yeah.
process.
I'm I'm
Easy.
I'm a design like, I like to design, it's easy, this is fun, I'll do it in 30 minutes, never works out that way, never works out. But the thing is don't be afraid to look at it, say, "I don't like it that way," and change it 5 times in an hour if you have to. It's never gonna make a difference. The best thing about banners is no one gets a notification that you changed it. So, I think that they at least one thing the social medias do right is that, because they do give notifications on all the other things you're doing. So, sometimes it's like, I don't want people to know that. But anyways, um, so with I think we can delve into a little bit of that rebranding. Oh, what are we sharing here?
Well, the wrong screen. I was sharing the
Wow.
wrong screen. But
I
I
mean, it was
was
just
going,
a
oh, it's showing the live on LinkedIn. I was gonna show my
oh, your page?
see?
Yeah, you can't.
Right.
Not when
I
you're live.
was gonna show my header, but I'm live. So what I have ready is your header.
Sure.
So that way people can kind of see really what we're talking about inside. Because sometimes if you're not doing it all the time, you're not fully aware of what we're discussing or what we're talking about. A
Sure,
lot of
and
times, Sarah and I think everybody lives on their computers.
right. Well, we do, but not everybody does. But yeah, if you look at mine, she kinda zoomed in. Zoom out just a little bit more because the zooming in took my head over my logo, and that's there we
Yep.
go. So, my logo is there right above my head. So the first thing you see when you go to my LinkedIn is that. Um, and then I just simply ask 2 questions. I wanna make people answer a question, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to change it. I've changed it a few times in the last year to different questions, different things to make people, stop and look at it. And so this is, do you actually want solutions for your HR problems, or do you just wanna keep talking about them in staff meetings? Because you know what? Nobody is actually gonna say, "I wanna keep talking about them in staff meetings," right? But and that's the key to it. It makes you kinda laugh, and it makes you kinda be like, "Well, yeah, we've been doing that for 6 months, and we haven't solved it yet." And that's where I would be like, "Well, call me," right? Or send a message on LinkedIn. But it's the concept of getting your brand out there and making people think. And this is where I wanted to kind of delve into actual a little bit of, you said you were rebranding, but actually what you are doing is tweaking your brand and streamlining what you give to people. Because for when you're first starting a company, you do think like, I need to give everybody all the information, because if they don't know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, they're never going to want to buy my widget or use my services or whatever the case is. But in all actuality, people think differently. So look at Brittany's. This is hers uh,
Facebook.
on Facebook. And it's the same concept though, for the other ones. But so the first thing you see is BizStorming, which is her logo. But then right under that, the first thing that somebody sees is free weekly group meetings. You want to know what everyone loves in the world? Is something free. If you were like, there's free cookies, right? Buy one, get one free, right? You buy something from me and you get a free bookmark with it. Like all of those things, people are more likely to grab it and think, how do I get that? Or what does that mean? Right? What am I getting for free? I want to learn. And then you go down to her 90-day biz boost, which I mentioned earlier, right? Because it's kind of that concept of, sure, you understand what it is, but what is it really? What is it going to offer me? And you can tell with that thing being third in the list, it's probably going to be the most expensive, which it is, right? Because it's 90 days. But also, it's the most important, right? The free thing is the thing she's like, here, I'm giving it away. Information, love it, right? And then you can pay for a little bit more. But if you want to do the best thing, you're going to do the third thing on the list. And that's how people's minds work. So when it comes to that branding, it's not really like you're rebranding, you're just giving them the information they need. And that's something I think that small businesses, which we are considered that because we're solopreneurs, right? We're still small businesses. Someday I will be a millionaire and you guys can watch it happen on this show. But right now I'm not, and we're still a small business, and everyone needs to think of it like that.
And so a lot of that comes into play when you're looking at what is it that you're actually trying to accomplish, right?
Mhm.
What are the things that we need people to understand? What are the things that we want people to do? And so this channel is very specific for crafters. And when we talk about crafters, we talk about that small business aspect. And it's important for us to bring the crafter into the small business world because you can make that as colorful. And I should have shown you what my old ones were.
Yeah.
Um, my old ones were very bright and very colorful, but you want to actually attract people. And sometimes the over creative will detract people. And so as a creative, you really want to hone in on that.
Well, and I think when you said this is, going towards crafters, I love the idea that they named it the creative spirit because really it is going for creative spirit people, right?
Yeah.
It could be painters, it could be actual crafters, it could be people that support crafters like us, people that support those creative companies. But I think with that, it's that way I almost think we're preaching to the choir on scaling your color scheme back, right? Because sure, every creative person has like, well, I have these scraps of things left and I'm going to create something really wacky. But for the most part, they're like, these colors go together, these colors do this. And that's kind of what you have to think about when you're creating these things is saying what would be pleasing to the eye, what are people going to notice? Or are you just going to throw paint on the wall and hope it turns out? And I really think that the creative people that are watching this are going to hopefully know how to scale back on those colors and those palettes of creativity that they encompass. But you never know. You never know. I've seen some interesting things out there, right? And you never know what people will do. I do want to do a quick plug here, though. If we're naming things like Canva or talking about banners and things like that, you can always grab time on calendars. I have a 30-minute slot that I won't make you pay for. But after that, if this takes like a few hours, I'm not going to lie. But grab a time and we can walk through how Canva can help you or how we can walk through some of these social medias. I don't want people to be overwhelmed because I know that we're talking kind of quick and we're talking from a level of user knowledge. So,
And one of the great things about the community that actually brought everybody together, I don't know why I keep saying about the BizStorming community. I
mhm,
guess I could just, about the community I created.
right.
Um, own your work. That's a good thing too.
Sure.
So one of the great things about the community is we have free meetings where you can come in and ask those questions.
Ooh,
And
those free
today,
group meetings we talked about. Oh, yeah. That's
yeah, those free ones.
okay.
Yeah. Today we had a marketing one. We do that twice a month. Sarah runs that one. She was like, "Hey, Brittany, everybody asks about marketing. We keep spending too much time in the accountability meetings." And so she was like, "Let's do it." So we actually have a meeting specific for marketing. We have a task management where you can go in and you can think that your 30-minute project you can extend it to an hour and a half, and you can ask for people who have been there, done that, for advice as you're doing it, so you're not having to do, like I said, I did it 3 times, but that's because I've done it 100 times before.
Right. And that's one of the things that I know that BizStorming is creating, but also what Creative Spirit is creating is those opportunities to learn and grow with your peers, learn and grow from people that have been there, done that are wanting to be partners with you. There's so many levels of people that are developing these things and being part of these things that it's crazy to not network with them. And I think that should be our next live, is all about networking and getting the word out there and collaborating and all of those fun things with all the opportunities that we have. So we just told you what our next one is going to be.
I
So
wasn't paying attention. She'll tell me next week.
Lordy be. That's all right though. I just talk and nobody listens. And no, I'm joking. But back to branding and things like that. Um, when you are a person thinking about starting your business, one of the things that I will say is think about colors and styles that you are going to want to see forever, because it is something that took me a hot minute to think about. And I came up with the blue and lime green with some whites and grays as accent colors. But I wanted very contrasting colors. I wanted very bold colors, right? But you just want something that's going to be noticeable and memorable, right? And we'll use like the BizStorming concept where she has the lightning bolts as the Z and the S, right? That's noticeable, it's memorable, right? And we're not going to get into the whole story behind that. She can do that on some other show. We can talk about the styles and things like that. But think about being memorable, but not being over the top, right? And that's kind of what you have to think about. What are your thoughts on that?
Exactly. And one of the things that you really want to think about is, can this be etched into a shirt? Could it be a polo?
Yes.
Can I make this a polo? And if your overall design, like the Creative Spirit, I love their design. It's
Yep.
gorgeous. If I'm thinking, can I make this a polo? That's going to be a little bit more difficult. However, you could pull different things out of it. Like you could do just the face, right? Or you could do just the Creative Spirit. It is okay to have an elaborate thing that you make smaller. If you look at, when you go to bizstorming.net, my BS for Biz Storming is the little tiny logo. So you want to look at different sizes of what you're doing as well. And that helps you inside of creating, because if a banner won't let you have your whole logo, maybe it will let you have one of your versions of it.
Right. And I am going to just mention the Creative Spirit logo. You're right. I may not be able to see that on a polo per se, but I could see that on t-shirts very, very easily. Right? The front of a t-shirt, if you wanted to use that as your company logo. Like sometimes you can think about other ways on hats, on like I could see that on a coffee mug, right? Whereas like mine, I wouldn't put it center on a t-shirt. Um, so I think it would look really weird center on a t-shirt. It would look good on a polo, right? Whereas the creative spirit would look great center on a t-shirt, bad on a polo. So you just have to think again, it's that creativity. It's what are you going to do with it in the end? What do you want your logo to convey? And you got to remember it's not always going to be electronic, right? And so you got to think about that too. That's why, like my logo, I have two different types of it where the OTBP is blue, and that way it can be put on different things. Because right now, if you look at that logo, I can't put it on white paper. It would be funny, but it wouldn't work, right? Because it would just disappear. So anyway,
It will not print well. And you work in the corporate world, so people are gonna.
yes, that's why I have the blue one. The blue one is for printable materials, 100%. The white one is for more electronic usage, I guess is the word. But yeah, that's something to definitely consider is what are you going to do with that logo, and can it be taken apart, right? As you can see, Brittany's can she's used it in different ways. She can take it apart, she can use it in different ways. Mine, I can take off the wording at the bottom and just be OTBP with the path. And it's usable that way. Some people don't want it to be taken apart, and that's fine, right? You don't have to have it always doing what everyone else is doing. Um, was that a dog? No?
No, it was my child trying to quietly open his door,
Oh,
and
that's
it just.
squeaked.
Mm,
That's funny. That's funny. Um, so we have a bathroom door that does that. Whenever you're trying to be quiet, it squeaks. And when you don't need it to be quiet, it's like the silent door. And it's like, I don't understand it. We go off topic though. So we only have a couple of minutes left. We have a hard stop at 30 minutes today. But I think in the end, what I want to just wrap up my thoughts and then you can give yours. The idea is to don't rush your logo, don't rush your banners. And so if you're new, your logo is going to be one of the first things that you create, and you don't have to have everything done in the first 24 hours of you saying I want to start a business. Take a week or two and actually build a logo that you love. And we're not going to promote anybody for this on this call, but if you need somebody to help you create a logo, uh, Jeanette and Jen, who are running this Creative Spirit channel, can definitely refer you to someone, or you can email one of us and we can refer you to somebody that can help you build a logo that you will love long term and be happy with. And the same thing goes with those banners. Make sure that you take the time to do what you need to do and make them how you want them to be, right? Mine are way more sparse with a lot more white space than Brittany's, but that doesn't make mine better or worse. It's how I want my business portrayed. And so that is how I want you guys to think about that. And now I'm going to let Brittany give her final thoughts on branding.
my final thoughts are that this is an amazing show. We will see you guys next week,
We
and have a great day. We're on the dot.
Oh, okay, cool.
Have a great day, everybody.